How to whisk a bowl of matcha. First, what you need is all the utensils, a caddy or a container in which your tea powder that you are going to consume is contained, a tea whisk, a bowl, a scoop. This could be a teaspoon, or you could get a bamboo or a wooden tea scoop that is used to measure the amount of tea that you need, a towel, and your delicious hot water. I got mine from the shrine nearby. So the first thing you do is to insert hot water into the bowl. In order to warm the bowl and also the tea whisk. Whisk around a little bit in the tea bowl. This softens the tines of the whisk, also warms up the bowl. Put the whisk back. Bring the hot water in the bowl up to the rim of the bowl so that you can warm up the entire surface of the bowl. Get your towel ready. Throw the water out. We're going to wipe the bowl dry. If any moisture or drops remain, your tea powder will stick to it and it will create lumps. You won't get a delicious bowl of tea. So very important, first warm up the bowl. Next, we're going to need the tea with our tea scoop. We're going to scoop the tea in the bowl. You take 2 scoops and a half. 2 scoops, 1 scoop is this size, into the bowl. 1 more scoop. And the half is basically an adjustment based on how thick or how thin you want the tea, how much tea you want to drink. You could go with 2. And then what I do is to carve the tea open with the sharp side of the tea scoop. Use the sharp side of the tea scoop to open the tea to the side. This spreads the tea out, airs it out, and also allows you to cut up the lumps that might be there in the tea powder. 2 taps. This allows the tea powder that is sticking to the tea scoop to fall off also into the bowl. And then we put these items back. We want to spread out the tea to the side because that is going to help when we pour the water in. Now, very important here is the balance between tea powder and water. You only need as much water as there is tea powder in there, and that is why we carved up the tea powder, aired it out to the side, because now when we are going to pour water in, and I'm going to trickle it in very slowly from the side, it will catch under the tea, lift the tea powder up, and then the tea powder will start to sink again into the water. The moment that you need to stop pouring is when all the powder, first you see the powder come up and you have dry powder on the surface, then it starts to sink and the amount of dry powder starts to diminish. Once almost all of the little islands of dry powder have dissolved under the surface of the water, then you know that it is time to stop pouring. So as we pour very gently, we trickle it, the powder starts to come up, it starts to float, and then it will starts to dissolve. And as soon as most of the powder has sunk under the surface of the water, we stop pouring and we know that we have enough water for the amount of powder in our bowl. Next, we whisk. First, we put the tips of the tines into the bowl, on the bottom of the bowl, and we're going to whisk in one straight motion from 6 to 12. If we look at the tea bowl in like a clock, 6, 12, we go up and down, straight line. No circular motions, we're not mixing anything, we're going straight up and down through the center, and you might come to the sides, but also in one straight line up and down the bowl. Having done that for a few moments, you see that you've created a foam. Gradually, well, now there are some larger bubbles first. What you want to do is to gradually raise the tips of the tines from, so stop pressing them against the bottom of the bowl, raise it up to the surface and only make sure that now the tips of the tines touch the surface and you move it in the same sort of zigzag motion over the surface of the bowl where the foam is, so that you can use the tips of the tines to break up or release those larger bubbles so that you create a more minute foam. Alright, you're making that zigzag motion. Finished, write a Z over the surface, over the foam, then bring the tea whisk to the center and leave the tea whisk there in the center. What this does is it catches all the foam, gathers it together, and then leaves it in a small heap of foam in the center of the bowl. And that gives you your deliciously whisked bowl of tea.